Hello, 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 everyone. It's Kim from K&RP here in Southeast. Oh boy, here we go. I can't talk already. Okay. Kim from K&RP in southeastern Manitoba. It's currently 17 degrees Celsius, which means it's 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Our air quality is 3. Hi, Mary Lou. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Anne. um, the air quality is 3. The sky looks yellow. I don't believe that it's just a 3. It's hard for me to breathe out there. So I'm really happy that we're going to be playing down here today. Okay, so we had planned on doing this crochet purse. We talked about it on one of Shelly's streams, Shelly and Crafting Mamas, her stream, and we are talking about doing a crocheted purse or bag. So I asked her to send me a picture of the one that she was talking about, because there are so many different ways to do granny square purses, bags. You can do almost anything, right, with granny squares. So she sent me this one. So it's really quite simple. It's basically 4 granny squares from what it looks like. I'm not sure that it's got granny squares on the side and bottoms to give it depth. It does not look like that. But if you can see these pictures, it's definitely the way granny squares were meant to be. It's using up little bits of leftover yarn that you've got kicking around, and that's basically where granny squares started. The first pattern from the research I've done, the first pattern was originally published in 1897 in the practical, what is this? Weldon's Practical Needlework book. But before that, granny squares had been around for a few years, but didn't have a written pattern. But again, it's just a way for people to use up little bits of yarn. So I specified when I was posting about doing this to get a smooth yarn, because if there's new crocheters and you're using a yarn like eyelash or anything like that, is so hard to work with. Even for granny squares, I don't think I would like to work with it. And I have been crocheting for well over 50 years, let's say. Hi, Linda. Welcome, welcome. So these are the purses that we're going to do. It's up to you for what colors you have chosen to use. As I say, I just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff that I had partial balls of, because I like to use stuff up. So, Mary Lou, I know that you are an experienced crocheter, and you too are an experienced crocheter. Linda, do you crochet? The reason I'm asking is because if you're inexperienced, okay, so then you guys know the stitches and the abbreviations for them. I just want to make sure, like, if we've got people coming in that are not experienced crocheters, not that you need to be experienced, then I just have to do this a little bit differently and show how the stitches are done. So the stitches that we're going to use are really basic. It's the chain stitch, the chain space, double crochet, slip stitch, and ST is stitches or stitch. So a granny cluster is considered 3 double crochet separated by chain stitches. So I've done samples of each row. I'm prepared. Woohoo! And my desk was clear, but now I got stuff on it. But normally you can't see my desk. So this is the second row of the granny square. So you can see that there's the 3 double crochets and they're separated by chain stitches. I'm probably telling you guys things that you already know, but I'm just, in case somebody else watches a replay, etc. You know how that goes. So those are granny square clusters. This is the picture that we're using. So what I did was I looked online to find a basic granny square pattern. And the reason I did that, even though I have crocheted probably 20 afghans of granny squares, there are so many variations out there. And from looking at this picture that Shelley sent, it's a basic granny square. It doesn't have like bubble clusters or popcorn stitch, anything. It's just a straight double crochet and chains. So I was looking online and I looked at a few different sites on how to make them. And the one that I found was by Sarah Maker. And it's a wonderful site on how to make a granny square. She's got diagrams, she's got really great explanations. So if you need any of that, that's a great place to check it out. We're going to do, I've written out how to do it. So I'm going to be showing how to do granny squares from start to finish for one. And I don't know if we want to make the whole purse today. Are we going to do all 4 granny squares, 8 granny squares? I don't know what you guys want, but I'm here. I'm prepared to play. So let's do it. If you just want to use a single color, that's fine. I just did single colors so that it would be easier to show how the stitching went and where to start and stop each round. Granny squares are done in rounds. Your right side is always facing you. We don't turn it over until we're sewing them or crocheting them together. So we're going to start with 1 granny square. Are you guys crocheting along, or are you just visiting and hoping I'm going to go, now what? And then I call on you guys for help. So on Sarah Maker's site, she's got 3 different ways to start your granny square. You could use the magic knot or magic circle. You can just chain 1 and do all the stitches in 1 chain, which makes it really tight. All right, Mary Lou. Great. So you would do it the way you prefer. I am going to do the easiest way for a beginner, and I am going to start by chaining 4. So you make a slip knot, right, with a loop, and then you're chaining 4. Can you guys see? Do I have shadows? I've got shadows. Let me just turn on the other light. All right. I have lots of scrap yarn too. I tried using it up, making an afghan, I just made it up as I went along. And the silly thing weighs 5.5 pounds, and I still have balls of yarn around. It's crazy. Okay, so I have chained 4, and then it says to join it with a slip stitch in the very first chain that you did. Am I yelling? Am I too loud? So now we're doing a slip stitch. So now we're going to do round 1. So it says chain 3, and that is considered not only the step up that you would do for a double crochet, but it is considered the first double crochet in a granny square pattern. So we're going to chain 3 and count that as our first double crochet. Now into the center of the ring, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So that's a yarn over. K-Ann, see ya. Pull up a loop, take off 2, you've got a double crochet. And we're going to repeat that. Pull up a loop, off 2, and off 2. So there we have our first granny square cluster. It's a set of 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 3 and right back into the loop we started with. We're going to do 3 double crochets. I too am going to be playing with lots of colors. So now we've got 2 granny square clusters and we have a corner. The chain 3 is the corner. So now we're going to do another corner. This is the one that we're working on. So we need 4 granny square clusters and 4 chain 3s. You guys having a good weekend? It's the long weekend here. The weather is quite nice. Quite often we get snow and rain on the long weekend because people are just out camping for the first time after our winters. But it's been pretty good. Okay, so I've got 3 clusters, chain 3, 1 more cluster. Am I going too slow for you ladies? And this is just worsted weight yarn. This is like a brunette super saver or not brunette, red heart yarn, like the balls that you can get a bazillion different colors of. And now I'm going to chain 3 and I am going to slip stitch in the very top of that first chain that we counted as a double crochet. I'm going to slip stitch and join, and there we have our first round. Now, the way she says to do her changing of colors is that when you do the slip stitch, you actually do it in the next color. I am in southeastern Manitoba, Canada, and it is beautiful here today. It is 62 Fahrenheit, but there's lots of smoke in the air, so the sky looks quite yellow. So when you guys do your switching of colors, do you do that and do the pull the slip stitch with the next one, next color? I always just end it off and you know, but I'll do it this way. Okay, so we've got the join, and now we're going to chain 3 for round 2, and that is your double crochet. So we're going to chain 1 for the space. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets in the next. Yeah, see, I always cut it and started fresh too, because it's like, what's going to happen with this? Is it going to pull back? How do you, and I'm going to do it that way. I'm old school. Let's pull it back. So I did my 3, join in the top. Yeah, that's the way I always did it too. Finish it off. More ends to weave in, but you still have ends to weave in the other way as well. Okay, so now we're going to start with our round 2. That's round 1. I didn't show the pattern in case somebody needs to see the pattern. So round 2, we're going to start with a chain 4. And I'm going to start it in this loop right beside where we ended off. And we're going to chain 4. And so that's the double crochet and a chain one, which is going to be your space. And then we're going to do 3 double crochet in the next corner. I do it the same way in bunches. Like I do all the middles, all the next ones. Then we're going to do a chain 3 because that's the corner, and 3 more double crochet in that corner loop. Now we're going to chain 1, that's the space between, and then we're going into the next corner and doing 3 double crochets. 3 chain stitch and 3 double crochet. Chain 1 into the next corner, we're doing 3 double crochet. Three chain, and then 3 more double crochet. Hey Cal, welcome, welcome. You're not that late. Do you want me to start again? I can whip you through this starting part really fast. Have you been playing with Granny Squares at all, Cal? Oh, see? Now, what I also do is I pull the yarn across and I work over it so I don't have as much to weave in. You wanted to wait till you got your kit? Okay. I can work you through the granny squares though. If you've just got some yarn kicking around. Just shows how long we've been doing it, Mary Lou. Cal, do you want me to? You'll watch replay? Okay. So we finished with 2 double crochets and we're going to do a slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And we're going to end it off. Yeah, all my stuffed animals had chain stitch collars and leashes. It was hilarious. Okay, so you can weave the ends in now, which I will do because weaving ends in is never a fun thing. Mind you, you can do it while you're watching TV. I never watch TV, so I have many Afghans with fuzzy little ends sticking out of them. Linda, are you playing along? Are you still here? Okay, so I've got round 1 and round 2 complete. Now we're going to do round 3. I have a motley. All right. Now I'm having, I'm using up junk, ladies. So now I'm going to start this one again. And I'm going to join it in a chain 1. These squares have 1, 2, 3, and the base square, so 4. So they're really small granny squares, but it'll make like a nice tote bag, I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm going to join in the corner again. And I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to chain 1 for the chain 1 space. Remember, the 3 is a double crochet. It's not just a step up. Then I'm going to go into the chain 1 space and do 3 double crochets. A granny square cluster is considered 3 double crochets separated by chain stitches. Now I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm in a corner, so we do 3 double crochet, three chain, 3 double crochet. That is your corners. 3 double crochet, 3 chain, 3 double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. Into the chain 1 space, we're going to do a granny square cluster, which is 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and we're back in the corner. So that's 3 double crochet. Chain 3 and 3 more double crochets in the corner. If you're using all one color yarn to do these, you're not breaking off and ending the way we are. Chain 1. Now we're doing a chain 3, blah, blah, blah. 3 double crochet granny square cluster in the chain 1 space. Did I just confuse everybody? Now we're going to chain 1, back to the corner, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. We're in the corner, but that's where we started. So it's 3 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and join into the third chain from that you started with, because that chain 3 is a considered a double crochet. And off. Right, Cal. And the reason that you've got the chain 3 is because it gives it a nice corner. Okay, so if we are following along with this picture, we now have our 3 colors together, right? Our inside. Now we're working on the main color that we're putting things together with. If we're doing it that way, if you're somebody who's crocheted for a while, you're going to do it your way. I'm just following this for people coming in. So now I'm going to do another row around, and I'm considering that the main color. So I'm using this gray because I have more of this gray. And I'm going to stick it in there because it's going to roll every place. So, do a start, slip knot, decide where we're going to start. I think I'm going to continue starting in the corners. I like the way that seems to work the best. Well, I guess we could weave that bottom one in. Let's just weave this one in. Oh, I've got a couple to weave in. I'll weave in at the end. Okay, so breathe, Kim, all's good. So we're going to go into the corner space, the corner chain. We're going to chain 3. And then we're going to chain an extra 1. Okay. Chain an extra 1. And we're going to do 3 double crochet in the chain 1 space. And you'll notice that every time you do a row now, you're going to have more granny square clusters on the sides. That's how you can tell your square is getting bigger. Chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and we're at the corner, so it's 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Are you back, Mary Lou? Chain 1, and we're doing, as you can see now on the side, we have 2 granny square clusters on the sides on this row. So we're just going to continue doing this around. Hey, Pam, welcome, welcome. How was your barbecue yesterday? Granny squares would be a great way for you to use up all that yarn you've got, Pam. Just saying. So chain 1, we're in the corner, so we're going to do 3 double crochet. Oh, that's excellent. Oh, you couldn't decide? So those of you who have done granny squares, you picked black? Nice. Those of you who have played with granny squares in the past, would you use this as a purse? How would you line it? What's your preferable lining? And yes, but you do them all separately and then you put them together. So this is a great take along kind of thing. When I have finished this row, I will consider this granny square complete and I will start again in the center with the yellow. So since I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 of them, you'll be able to catch up. Oh, I know, Pam. I know. I get you. So just bear with us a couple of minutes and we will be starting a second one. Okay. Smooth yarn if you've got smooth yarn, Cal. It's just easier to work with. And granny squares are one of those things, it doesn't necessarily have a gauge to it. It's using up the scraps. So Of course, you're not going to use baby yarn with this. It's going to be a little tight. You didn't like doing granny squares? I get you. You didn't like doing granny squares, or you didn't like doing a bazillion of them to do an Afghan? See, I've done them into Afghans for my kids, and they don't like granny square Afghans. They find that they're not warm unless they're on top of another blanket, which makes sense to me because of the holes, right? But as a purse, I could just imagine me dumping a handful of change into it and all have it all fall out. You've got a continuous join method? Oh, I forgot to do my other two. So when you are finishing this row, you're joining it to the next one. So you have one that you do singly, and then as you work, you just continue on when you get to the end row. Mary Lou, is that the way you do it? Okay. I'll have to check that one out. Okay, so that would be my completed granny square for one of the patches on the bag. Yeah, I'm going to use mine as a grocery tote. So then, of course, you weave in the ends, but I'm going to start another one so that I can show how I would join those. You're not sure how you would connect these? I was just going to single crochet them together. The sides look like they have another row to them, though. You know what I mean? That once you've got these four connected, it looks like they do around the side and the bottom, one more row, and then join. And that would give that little bit wider. If I was to do it as a grocery tote, I would probably do granny squares, like, you know, the extra granny squares so that it was that, it would be this wide when, does that make sense? Anyway, we have one done. Is yours done, Mary Lou? I'm starting number 2. Do I have another color? Got more yellow. I don't want to use that. Okay, I'm going to start with this one in the center this time because it's always fun to mix and match. Yeah, one more row along the sides and bottom so that's that. Because how big is this? This is 5.5 inches. Okay, you're typing. Okay. So yeah, I think I would do down the sides as well, just so that there's more, so it's wider. Might as well make it something that'll carry stuff. Anyway, so this is how we start, Cal. You have your yarn that you're using as a center color. Are you using just one color or various colors? So you start by doing your slip knot loop You chain 4. You're using a J hook? Nice. I was going to, but I figured, well, I wanted that little bit tighter. But since I'm going to be using it as a grocery bag, I could have used the larger hook. So you chain 4, you slip stitch in the very first one to make a ring. And as I said, the chain 3 is not only a step up, but it is the first of your double crochets in this pattern. So you chain 3, you do 2 double crochet in this loop, in the circle that you just made. And so that is your first granny square cluster. It's 3 double crochet. Now you're going to chain 3, and you're going to do 3 double crochet back in the center of that circle that you just did. Now you're going to chain 3 again. So you're doing your corners and the first of your sides with this first round. The right side is always facing you. You're never turning it. You go in rounds for a granny square. So you chain 3. And now you do the last 3 double crochets. Now you're doing 3 chain, and you're joining it in the top of the first chain 3 that you did, because that's your double crochet. And you're going to end it off. How you doing, Cal? So you will have something that looks like this, but in a different color, I'm sure. Cal, let me know when you're done, hun. Pam, are you crocheting along? So what have you done with all your abandoned granny squares, Linda? Okay. Okay. So you've got it ended off and it looks like this. So then you're going to take your next color and you're going to do your start loop. Then you're going to go to one of your chain 3 spaces and you can bring that loop around and then chain 3. So that's your first double crochet. Well, it's going to be the last one in the whatever. You do a chain 3, then you do a chain 1, And then you go over to the next corner and you do 3 double crochet in the corner. So that was creating your chain 1 space for the side. So to start, it will look like this. 1 double crochet, chain 1 space, 3 double crochet. Then you're going to chain 3 and do 3 more in the corner. 3 more double crochet in the corner. Oi, hands aren't working. Is it going okay, Cal? Do you have your corner done? Okay. Oh, excellent. So are they like the pockets on the front of your junk journals? Yes, we can back up, certainly, hun. What do you need? Right back to the beginning. So we ended off the first color. Yes? Okay. We ended off the first color. Okay. So now we take our second color. And you know that slip knot that you do, that slip loop that you do to start working? We're going to do one of those. Okay? Yes? Okay. Now we're going to take this and we're going to go into one of our corners and we are going to bring that loop. We've got it off our hook. It's over here now. We're going to go through that loop and we're going to bring that loop through the corner and do a single chain to attach it. And then the 2 more chain so that you've got a 3 chain start. Okay, so now we chain 1 and then we go into the next corner and we do 3 double crochets. Oh, so then you could use it like around the spine. Okay, now I want to think about that and possibly have to do 1 or 2. Okay, so did you get your 3 double crochets in the next space? Cal? Yes. Now we chain 3 and we do 3 more double crochet in that corner. Oh, the stuff you could hang off that spine, Linda. That's such a great idea. Cal, got your next 3 double crochets done? So it will look like this. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. And we're going to go into the next hole. And the same thing, 3 double crochet, chain 3. Oh, I do so. Yes, I do, Linda. Okay, so in the next corner, we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. I do very eclectic journals, Linda. This is one of mine. I do lots of bits on my channel, like pockets and tags and things as a rule. Cal, got the corner done, honey? Thanks, Mary Lou. So now we chain 1 and we go into the next corner. Same thing, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Thank you, Mary Lou. Yeah, I've got a few started. Oh, awesome, Linda. Thanks. Cal, let me know when you've got your corner done. Awesome, Mary Lou. Kel is a beginner crocheter. She's done some incredible stuff. She did a really cool little seahorse applique. Well, her and I did that together. She's been doing Afghans. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, chain 1. And in the next space, because we started in it, that is our very last double crochet. So we're going to do 3 double crochet. Chain 3 and 2 double crochet, and join it into the 3rd chain of that beginning one. You made 12 Afghans. Hokey Dinah. That's right. We were talking about that on Shelley's channel when Sherry said that I would teach the granny squares. All scrap Afghans. Like I say, the one that I did, I didn't have a pattern. I just was trying to use up my yarn. So I would do like on a side, say maybe 18 in one kind of a stitch, and then I would tie it off and then do the same on the next side. So it was symmetrical, but it was all different. Kel, did you get it, hun? You've got the 3, chain 3, 2 double crochet attached to the 3rd chain. Okay, so then we tie it off. We end it off. So now it should look something like this. Nice, Mary Lou. Those would weigh a ton too. See, when I use multiple strands of yarn, I made like floor area rugs. I know. At least I usually give a lot of the stuff to my family. My family really appreciates it. They do not like junk journals, though. I have one grandson that likes junk journals. The other 4 do, or 3 do not. which is fine. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so now we're going on to the third color. We're going to attach it the same way. Loop. Rugs, yeah. I have been asked to do a cat house online here. And I've got a shawl pattern that somebody's having difficulty in. Yeah. It's nice to give stuff to family. My kids want Afghans, but they don't want Afghans with holes in them. They also want their quilts replaced. I'm going to be so busy. My daughters understand them, but they don't want to be futzing around. They just want to write. That be me. Hi, Jerry. Welcome, welcome. Okay, Cal, do you have your loop? We're going to start in the corner again, and we're going to pull it through and chain 4. So that's the 3 for the double crochet and the chain 1 space. How are you doing, Sherry? How's your kitty? All right, Mary Lou. Nice. So now we're going to do 3 double crochet in the chain 1 space because now we're working on sides as well. So 3 double crochet, chain 1. You're going to be at the corner again. So we do the regular corner, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Chain 1, and you're on the side, so you do 3. Oh, that's good. Did your vet say anything about crushing the antibiotics and mixing it with a little bit of water and then giving it to her with an oral syringe? That's how I used to have to do it with my dogs. I would crush them up with just a little bit of water, put it in an oral syringe, and you just kind of shove it in their mouth and squeeze, and they can't spit it out. Oh, it's liquid. Oh, so you're not having any fun either then. Kel, are you on the side now? Did you get it done? Do you have to wrap her in a towel, Sherry, to give it to her? Kel, have you made it to the next corner? So you should have. You're on the next corner. All right. You did remember to do the chain 1 between, right? I'm talking more than I'm crocheting. Oh, yeah. How often a day do you have to give that to her? You're playing catch up? Oh, every 12 hours. Oy. Awesome, Linda. Thanks. I've been crocheting for so long. Crocheting and chatting is just like normal for me, it seems. Have you got to the last corner yet, Cal? Remember that we've got the only do 2 crochet in the very last cluster? Because we've got that first one that we use as a double crochet. I do multitask well. So we'll end that color off as well. Maybe I'll wait till Kel gets there before I start chopping things up. Sherry, you'll have to let me know when we can get together and work on your shawl. Sherry's making a shawl and it's going at an angle. It's not, the sides aren't staying straight. So I was going to work with her on it to see if we could figure out what was happening. It could just be that same kind of pattern like Kel had for that Afghan she did where the sides just wouldn't stay straight. I'm waiting, hon. Excellent. Join and end. Just waiting to see what's happening with my car, Sherry. It's making some weird noises, so I don't want to take it on the highway. Otherwise, I'm going to be coming into the city. There's no way I want it on the highway right now. But when I do come to the city, I will let you guys know. Sherry and Barbara Pot Pie live just in the city, half an hour from me, but I don't want to take my car on the highway and have something happen. We have never met in person yet, and we're hoping to do so very soon. It'll be nice to have somebody close to junk journal with, I'm thinking. I have a couple of artistic neighbors, but they're more into the painting. Like when we get together, we paint. Yes. All right. So I'm going to end mine off. I have one that I paint with and one that I crochet with. But I got nobody to play junk journals with except my wonderful friends online. What do you do with all those tails? You're going to have to weave them in after you sit down and you weave them all in. I just take a crochet hook and run them back and forth. That's kind of lonely when you're crafting and you want feedback and stuff, isn't it, Mary Lou? I am so glad I found this crafting community. Oh my goodness. That's the only thing with doing granny squares, Kel, and all the color changes. There's lots of weaving in to do after. That's why so many people don't like doing the granny square afghans, but it is a great way to use up yarn. And also, if you were doing it just sitting watching TV, you would probably weave them in after every row, just so that they're done. But I'm just kind of whipping us through this so that you can see how we're doing it. Does that make sense? Nice. Nice. I have a group that I visit on Tuesday nights, the Defy Angels. And Kel streams Tuesday night, so I try and hop from there to her, and Beth streams. Like, everybody has stream times, right? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I live in southeastern Manitoba, Linda, Canada. And you? So, Kel, this is the last one for this pattern. The last row, Texas. All right. So we're going to do the same thing. Main color, I'm using gray as my main color. You don't have to have a main color. You can still use whichever you like. Pull up the loop, go into the corner, chain 3, plus 1 for the space, 3 double crochet in the next chain 1 space. Yeah. Nice. I've been thinking of doing that too. So then, Cal, we have 2 granny square clusters on the sides with a chain 1 between. So you do the 3, chain 1, 3 in the next space, chain 1, you're at the corner, so 3, 3, and 3. I should do that one day. Just have a room open and people can pop in and out and visit. I kind of like the Facebook rooms. So then you're on the side again, Cal. So you do the chain 1, 3, chain 1, 3. Am I confusing you? Let me know what you need, Cal. But yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun because that way we could see each other's desks. Although most of the time you guys really don't want to see my desk. You can never see my desk for stuff on it. That's the best kind, Mary Lou. Like Wednesday afternoons, there's a group of ladies that meet in the next town and craft. And I've gone a few times. Well, I used to go regular before the pandemic, and now I'm just too leery to do it. Okay, so you finish the corner. Remember, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the space, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the space. Chain 1, 3 yes. The single crochet space, not the single crochet, the single chain space. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're just working in the spaces. You're not working in the stitches themselves. Cal? It's fun crocheting along with people. Sherry, you still here? What are you working on? Linda, do you have a YouTube channel? Oh, sorry to hear that, Mary Lou. Oh, good. That's right. You were working on that one. Yep. Okay. Well, I stream Sunday, Tuesday, Fridays at 12:45 Central. Kel streams Tuesday evenings and does quite a few pop-ups. She does a prompt along at 7 Eastern, and she does a stitch along at 9 Eastern on Tuesdays. Sherry does more pop-ups than anything. You guys want to pop your channels in? Please? I do have a Facebook group. It's called Meet Your Creativity, and it's listed in the description box. Yeah, Sherry, can you stitch along? Oh, she teaches embroidery stitches. Pam, are you still here, hun? Can you pop channels in? I would like yours. Pam sews lots. Made by Pam. She does everything. I call her Pam Can. She makes wonderful Pam rolls, like overalls. Okay, anyway, Pam, if you could put yours in and Kel's and Sherry's, that'd be fantastic. Pam's an ace at this. I struggle so much. Yeah, Pam really is. Crystal Daisies is Kel. Thank you very much, Pam. You rock. You absolutely rock. How you doing, Cal? I'm not quite as organized as Cal is. Um, I kind of just decide usually 15 minutes before I am doing my live as to what I am doing. So, yes, does anybody else have a channel that they would like put in? All right. So that is how these granny squares are made for this bag, this size. You're going to have to post a picture. So, of course, you don't have to stop at this size. You can do another row and another row and another row and just keep going, right? That's the sweet thing about granny squares. It's a simple pattern, it's repetitive. Excellent. Thank you, Mary Lou. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so, as I say, Cal, you can keep going. You can stop at this size because this is what we're doing for these bags. So, of course, now we've got 2 done, 6 more to go. The group would say K&RP, meet your creativity. Hey, Miriam. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're making granny squares so that we can make this bag. We've got 2 done, just about to start the 3rd. You've done granny squares in the past, haven't you, Miriam? Awesome. Pam, if you could put Miriam's in if you're still here, I owe you big time. Okay, so we're starting with the chain 4. Sorry, I just had to check my message. Somebody pinged me. Chain 4, join with a slip stitch in the very first chain that you made. Chain 3, again, the chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Question? Sure. No, not doing a magic ring because I didn't know who was going to be here to do. What do you do if you don't change color? You don't chop anything off and you just okay, I'll do one where I don't change color. Okay? You guys fine with that if I show Cal how to do one without changing colors? Okay, so you do your chain 4, join, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the ring. Yeah, Miriam, I didn't know if everybody would be okay. Perfect. I didn't know if everybody would be able to do a magic ring. Yeah, I do too. Okay, so then you've got your 2 double crochet, which is your 3 cluster. So then you chain 3. Same, do this, the same way. So you've got 4 3 double crochet clusters. Yep. That's what I do too, Mary Lou. And the nice thing, if you're not chopping off and using all one color, you can crochet over the ends of the yarn so they're already woven in. You just hold it where you're working, like around the ring, and you just crochet over it and tack it down, and it's already in your work and you don't have to futz with it. So then you slip stitch in the top of that chain 3. Then you do a slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. Now you're working in the stitches, and then 1 into the corner, chain 3, and start again. Does that make sense, Kel? Where are you? You're crocheting a beret? Nice. I used to do those hats with the Granny Square patterns, like the big floppy hats, We all crochet. That's right. Kel, are you understanding? Do I need to pull back and show you slow? Let me know, hun. Yeah, I did one of my lives. I made Mopsies. She's my dust bunny. I use her for wiping the bits off my desk, and it looks like she's been rolling in the muck. So she's my dust bunny. What else have I crocheted? I don't think I've really crocheted much else online with you guys. Just your patterns that we've needed to work on. You just made a baby dust bunny? Awesome. And then, of course, I do my kittens, my little crocheted kittens. And then I paint the faces on. I don't embroider them. And then I make little peckers. We should do a cute hippo, yeah. So, yeah. Thanks, Mary Lou. Have fun playing. Like, I'm one of those that just has to be playing with something at all times. We can do. Definitely. Okay. You want to do a giraffe? That could be fun. I mean, I do these little flowers like so I do the crocheted hearts and then I decorate them and I use them as dangles for journals. But this one I used my crocheted flowers on. Slip stitch. Now what? Okay. So you've got the first one done. So now what you're going to do, let me go pull back. So you slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And then you slip stitch across the next 2 double crochets into each of them. I did slippers and scarf samples, yeah. And then slip stitch into the space for the corner and then chain 3 and start again. Chain 3, 2 double crochet. Did you get that, Kel? I love doing these little dangle hearts. I used to put pins on them and sell them as pins. So now you're on the next row. So that's just how you do it. And then you just go around and around like you did before. No color changes, nothing. Does it make sense? Nice, Jerry. Did you do that like cat paws? I've seen them done like cat paws. Oh, beautiful, Miriam. Beautiful. So you know that between now, you have to do the chain 1. You do the corner, chain 1, corner, chain 1. And then you just keep going around and around and around. Yes, no, Kel? There's so much cute stuff out there. So much cute stuff out there now to crochet. And I don't have any littles to make things for anymore. My littles are all teenagers now. Guess I can wait for great grandbabies, but still. Yeah, exactly. Well, mine are teenagers. All right, Mary Lou. I was just showing Cal how to do single color and the slip stitch across to the corner, the chain, you know. Awesome, Jerry. I just might do that. I mean, even my girlfriend's grandkids are older now. Yeah, that's the way I was taught too. That's why, yeah, I meant grandkids. My youngest is 39. My youngest grandchild is 12. I have no little ones. Going good, Cal? Okay, I'm pulling this row back so that I can continue on with the squares from my bag. I should have done that in a different yarn. Scissors. Oh, twins. Nice. My grands are 20, 17, 14, and 12. They're marvelous young peoples. Okay, so I'm back to doing my squares for the bag. So I've got my center. Change in color. Oh, oh, interesting. So cool. And are those cousins very close, Mary Lou? Your grandchild is a sweetie pie. I need a baby fix. My new next door neighbor, they moved in just this month. They have, I guess he's probably about two, maybe two and a half, and a 9 month old baby. And I'm just itching to get my hands on that baby. That sounds bad. I love babies. Wow, that's cool. Were they close growing up, Miriam? I'm jealous. Oh, that's cool. At least they've got a bit of a rapport with each other. I was the youngest child. My sister is 11 years older than I am, so her kids were much older than mine. Okay. You're an only child? Did you like it or did you not like it? I've got a couple of friends who have only children, and their kids grew up more in my house than they did in theirs because they were with my kids all the time. So I'm really curious. I mean, I was like an only child because of the 11-year difference between my sister and I. But I had cousins next door that were, well, I had a girl cousin that was a year and a half older, and then a couple of boys older than that, and one younger. I'm so jealous, Miriam. My plants are still all in the greenhouse. Still in the greenhouse. And I know there are a few people planting their gardens this weekend, but we still have risk of frost until the first week in June. So I have lost all my stuff in the past, and I am just not willing to do that again. I just kind of muttered, I spend all this time raising seedlings and losing them to frost and then having to buy some. It just kills me. You do have different weather than we do. Although my cherry trees have blossomed and my apple trees are just starting, my grapes, the leaves are just starting to pop. Yeah, I guess that's true. You know how to amuse yourself much better. Now you're jealous? Why? Nice, Pam. Do you make lots of jams and stuff? Oh, cherry and apple trees. Yeah. They're not big cherries, they're small cherries, but they're pretty sweet. They make great jam. I could use them for pies, but they're so small, they're a pain in the butt to pick to do for pies. Yeah, I love fruit trees too. I had some wild plums growing, but those things sucker all over the yard, so we chopped them down. But I noticed that my next door neighbor has some plum trees suckering, and it's right on the property line. So I think I'll be able to steal some if it's a good year. Yeah. I cheat. I do microwave jam now because it takes 15 minutes and it's done. And it uses less sugar. You have plum trees? I have an awesome recipe for Chinese food plum sauce. How behind am I? I'm on my third square because I stopped to show Cal how to do single color. How are you doing, Cal? I don't know how behind are you, Mary Lou. You're doing great? Granny squares are a wonderful thing. They go fast. I'm on third square, fifth row, fourth row. There's no fifth row. So, Cal, instead of doing all these little squares, You could do a bigger granny square since you're just using it as a grocery bag. You could just do single squares on each side and put them together. Thanks, Sherry. I'm just using stuff that I had in the bin. As I was pulling stuff out, I'm going, oh, look, Easter colors. But that's okay. It'll be a nice shopping bag. And the really nice thing about bags like this, you can throw them in the washing machine. I don't know about you guys, but the shopping bags that we get from the stores here, the grocery bags, the cloth ones, they fall apart. They're just made like trash. So I had sewn a whole bunch of tote bags, but they're getting a little past it already. But at least I can wash them and they're clean and but you can't wash those ones that you get from the well, granny squares were designed to use up little bits of yarn. So this is absolutely perfect. Yeah, just pull things out of the bin. So, Cal, are you going to make big squares or are you going to do the small squares that we're doing? Okay. My camera is going fuzzy with this white paper down here. So I'm just going to move it since we know what we're doing. Are you working on anything, Linda, while we're crocheting? Sherry's journaling. Don't know what Pam's doing. And all you peeps in the balcony, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you, sorta. I have to laugh. My daughter says, oh, look, you've got invisible friends. Ah. Have a great night, Miriam. I hope you get a decent rest. I'm going to watch your live later. It's on my list. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Hey, did you ever look to see if you got that package from me? Anyway, I'm hoping so. All right, so I have 3 done. I'm going to do the 4th one. Let's start with this one. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I am hoping that you got it. Well, we can talk about that another time. I'll message you and we'll figure something out. Okay? Sweet dreams, Miriam. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you coming and visiting. I am hoping. I am. Sweet dreams. Big hugs. Miriam streamed this morning, I believe. She does some incredible pieces of art. So Cal, when we were talking before you got here, we were saying how we do the granny squares is we would make all these centerpieces first, and then the next row and the next row and the next row, so that it seems to go a little bit faster. And that way, if we're taking it out with us, we don't have to take all 4 balls of yarn. You just take whatever row you're working on and a stack of, if that makes sense. But because we're on here, I'm just doing it this way. I'm doing row by row. If that makes sense. See, now I'm thinking this would look so cool over a cover spine. Do you sew them down, Linda, or glue them? Hot glue, maybe? Sherry, how do you glue your crocheting into your journals? When I was digging through the bin, I came across these because I used to sell retail. So I was asked by the place I was selling to do tea cozies. So I knit a couple. They still need to be sewn together, like, you know, crazy. So I did one in purple, one in gray. I've got stuff everywhere, half finished. It's crazy. I don't know what's my problem. Just don't know. So Linda, Sherry, how do you put your yeah, you sew and glue. Yes. I know you slow stitch. Okay. And do you just use like a white glue or do you use hot glue to put it in your journals? Wet glue? Okay. So do you use like this worsted weight yarn to put things in, Sherry? Like this kind of yarn? Or do you use crochet cotton? Mm-hmm. I have crocheted around a few things to put in my journals, some tags and stuff, and I've slow stitched on them. Crochet cotton embroidery floss. Okay. Yeah, because this is pretty bulky, I'm thinking. Do you do like a crocheted ruffly edging on some things, Sherry? I was thinking of doing that on one of my next journals. I have a lot of mat board that was cut to size for journal covers. Someplace here. I had it. And because it's mat board, it's pretty thick. This one I've already got a gel print on. But I was thinking if I punched holes down the side and then crocheted a ruffly edging. But like mat board's really thick, right? It's good and solid. How are you doing, Cal? Did I lose Cal? Last corner, second square. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I use just not the really fine thread. I use the bigger spools. The stuff that they use for making Christmas ornaments and stuff out of. And snowflakes. Mary Lou, do you do any of that fine work? The crochet cottons, making like for doilies and things? Linda? I remember my grandmother doing all the crochet around the hanky edges. Some beautiful hankies were made. So do you just do the doilies for your junk journals now, or do you actually still use your doilies? Okay. Okay, Mary Lou. So then how can you work with black, Mary Lou? Don't you find it hard? Oh, earrings. I've seen some gorgeous crocheted earrings. I've never done any. So do you do like the florals, Linda, when you do the earrings? It is hard to crochet with fine threads. I find I have to have a really, really good light in order to use those. Yeah, I like little things. Well, that's the same way with my junk journal stuff. I like the little things so I can be finished fast, if that makes sense. Oh, they're like little doilies. Well, those sound interesting. So are they like an inch across or something? How, like, I'm so nosy. Little doilies. Like an inch. Okay. I was actually just looking at a pair of earrings on Pinterest that were done like the little flowers I do, and they've got tiny pearls as centers, and that's, I think, how they were put together. And okay, I like the little things. I don't know why I prefer doing small things. Like I paint canvases, I paint murals. I've painted murals for like retail. Um, but I think that's why I like the little stuff, because it can just be done. Do it, done. You do earrings with big yarn? I would like to see those. Oh, please post pictures in like Crafting Mamas or something and tag me, because I would love to see them. I really, really would. That's another thing my kids appreciate is jewelry, handmade jewelry. I've done wrap, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Kim can't talk anymore. Wrap bracelets for them, like with the leather and the beads and barefoot sandals. So much stuff to play with. Yeah, Sherry, me too. Like, I mean, I'm surprised my hand has lasted through doing the sample squares and these ones. I find it is getting better because I did pull a lot of weeds yesterday and I didn't end up having to ice or heat. So I'm going to touch wood that I'm not going to have issues today. A video on barefoot sandals? Yeah. I have a very low, yes, in the bracelets. Oh, I can. I certainly can. I could say my channel is very eclectic. Sometimes I'm painting, sometimes I'm crocheting, sometimes I'm doing prompt alongs. Okay, I'll do one at a time though. Because a lot of times I get sidetracked and I'm planning on doing something and then I take a left turn and you know how it goes, right? Hmm. Hi, Beth. Welcome, welcome. We're just working on these crocheted bags, Granny Square bags. So I've got one side done. Yeah. I'm going to use it as a shopping bag tote. So I think what I'm going to do is this pattern, it doesn't look to have very deep sides and bottom. So I think I'm going to end up doing sides and a bottom with extra squares. No, I've never heard about him, Sherry. What does he do? Does he knit or crochet? I'm not going to have a liner because that's what we were discussing earlier. That if it was a purse, I would definitely put a liner in it, but I'm just going to use it as a shopping tote. Like when I go for groceries or whatever, it'll hold some cans and things. It'll be pretty stretchy too, but that's okay. I haven't posted my pictures of my stuff yet on your group, Beth, like the stuff we did last night. I have to trim this one down yet. What have I got? I have to trim this one down. But that one dried and it turned out pretty good. I'm really happy with the way that turned out, actually. But anyway, I didn't have my camera down here to take pictures like my other camera. So, yeah, I think for the straps, I'm going to do them out of strapping. I've got like that nylon, like a ratchet strap. When you're ratcheting stuff down, like quads and stuff, we get extra, they're very long. So we've cut them down to size a lot of times. So I get long lengths, and that's what I use for my handles. Oh, thank you, hun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. How are you doing, Mary Lou? You're starting your third square. Awesome. So while you're doing that, I'm going to start weaving in some of these ends, because then I'll show how these are joined together. And you're not starting and stopping the colors, right, Kel? You're just doing continuous now? Are you on this evening, Beth? No? It's your day off? Yeah, I went digging in the magazine pile and I found some with a few better pictures in it. We've been talking crocheting, doilies, and that kind of thing. You crochet too, don't you, Beth? And are you still playing with your wheel, Beth? Haven't seen any notices for any of your pottery lately. You guys want to pop your channel links and stuff in, please, if you don't mind? Sherry, thank you for the link. I'll check that out. There, one square woven. Thank you, Beth. Just in case there's someone here who hasn't checked your channel out and would like to see the fun things that you do. You think everyone here's a follower? Okay. Well, maybe somebody will watch this on a replay and get interested. Because I always check that the live chat replay is available. And your dishwasher's running good? Excellent. Excellent. Wow, this one's got a lot of ends. I think that's the thing I don't like most about crocheting is having to weave in the ends all the time. Like I say, I've got Afghans from 40 years ago and they don't have their ends woven in yet. Everybody keeps saying, I'm just going to cut them off. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, just cut them off. Oh, that's a late night. But at least it's done. At least it's done. It's nice having a husband that can do things like that. Ron, too, is really handy. And, I look at some of my friends, they're like Pam, they do it all because their husbands just aren't handy. Oh, that's a lovely doily, Sherry. Sherry's sending me messages with beautiful crocheting on it. I look at all these young couples now who are just starting out, and so many of them have no clue how to fix things. They just don't. I don't even know if they've got shops in school here the way they did when we were in school. I don't know. But I feel sorry for them because there's so many life skills that people need that aren't being taught in the schools anymore. When I was teaching cooking, I used to work with people with varying abilities, and one of my jobs was to teach cooking and budgeting and safety in the community. Their staff didn't know how to cook. And okay, Mary Lou or Beth, see you soon. Take care. I will post you some pictures. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got that now, but some of them, like, they don't even have the tools to do it. They can look it up, but tools aren't a high priority, right? But I mean, when my girls started to drive, they were taken out to the shop and they were taught how to change their oil, how to check their oil, and how to change their tires. That's awesome. That's awesome, Mary Lou. I mean, my grandsons have been working in the shop since they were little. And my son in law is into fixing cars. So his boys are, have been working on motors and stuff since they were little. But so many people just don't. They just don't anymore. It's good that he's not afraid to do things for himself. That's really awesome. But I just, think my granddaughter was dating a young man, and I asked him if he had any hobbies, and he said, "Yeah, I play video games." And my granddaughter, you know, she's the one that had the tools, and she was fixing stuff and doing things, and he had no clue. I don't know that he even knew how to change a light bulb before she taught him. And I know that every generation they learn different things, but and cars now, yes, granted, with all their computers and everything, you can't just be a shade tree mechanic the way you used to be, but there's still a lot of stuff that you can do. You can at least change your own oil, gap your spark plugs. I just feel sad that so many people are losing these skills. Yes, I'm just old. Just old. And I have to admit that, when I was teaching cooking, my kids go, "Mom, nobody cooks that way anymore." You know, open up a can, do this, do that. Yeah, okay. But I was just trying to cook things that they would get at the food bank because so many of them had to go to the food bank. I don't know how people, um, where you are with disabilities, where they get their money, etc. You know what I mean? Like the majority of these individuals were on welfare. So they had to do the food banks because they just had to. So I knew that they would be getting, what kind of things they would get in the food bank. So I based the cooking lessons on, yeah, you can make soup out of lentils and whatever. You remember taking a cooking class? Yeah, we had cooking in school. And I really have to laugh because I failed home ec, which was cooking and sewing. Look at me now. But I got honors in automotive. So I could change oil, but don't ask me to cook anything. Now it's totally different. But I remember um, my daughter's father in law and mother in law had come for supper, and my daughter had cooked soup from scratch because that's the way she learned how to do it. And he was so surprised because, I mean, that's the way his mom did it. But because his wife worked full time. Everything was pre-made. Burgers, everything were pre-made. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you don't have anything pre-made in the house and you've just got ingredients, right? Oh, wow. Yeah. The food allergy thing. That's a big one. And that's a scary one. That is a scary one. Because, you never know when they're out with friends what they're going to get into. Most of them are really good about their allergies, but some of them it's like, well, they're eating it. They just want to try it, right? Wow. That's a big one. Oh no, Sherry, that's sad. That's a lot to be allergic to, Mary Lou. My sister is allergic to eggs. So she has to be really cautious. I am allergic to peanuts. So that's my main thing, peanuts and peanut oils. And I don't know if I'm allergic to other tree nuts, but I know that if I work with walnut, like the wood, the sawdust really makes me itch. So then she has to, like, is it the whole egg he's allergic to, or just the yolk or the whites? No, no fast foods at all. Definitely not. Wow. So, like, pasta and everything is a no no for him. Cakes, cookies. You're allergic to a lot of the trees? Yeah. Oh, well, you have to give your daughter a lot of credit for learning to cook so that, you know, it's amazing what we learn to do to protect our kids. Yeah. How old is he? He's 8. So he's cognizant enough that he knows that he can't have a hot dog or, anything. Well, it's good that he's old enough to know. How are you doing, Cal? That's so awesome that he's good like that. Does he spend much time at your place, Mary Lou? Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Sorry, Cal. How are you doing? All right. One more. Then we'll join them up. Do you find it pretty easy going, Cal? Not too much ripping back, I hope. Can you guys hear that pump running? And do you find it annoying? You only made 2 boo boos? Excellent. And the nice thing about these, Kel, is when you do those boo boos, you don't have that much to rip back. But you know what? You don't even need to correct that. Nobody's going to know but you. So if you do that again, Kel, it doesn't really throw the whole pattern off. You only notice it because you're standing right on top of it. You're working right on top of it. But if somebody was just looking at what you were doing, they would never notice that. They really wouldn't. Seriously, if you do that again, just pretend it didn't happen and carry on. Don't bother ripping back. Unless it really, really bothers you. Yeah, it could, I get that. But like I say, you will be the only one that notices it. And if somebody else notices it and is rude enough to say, "Hey, look, you made a mistake way back here," I don't really know anybody who would do that to you. Kim's rules, yeah. Granny squares, if you miss a stitch, it's okay. Exactly. A circle granny square, that would be nice. We are always tougher on ourselves. But the way I look at granny squares, if it's a blanket, one missing stitch here and there is not going to detract from the warmth of it. And because when it's granny squares, they're looking at the colors more than they're looking at the patterns, you're safe. If it was like a shawl or a sweater, yeah, pull it back. But Afghan style, if you could figure out a way to, and if we're using these as grocery bags, one missing stitch is not going to detract from the use that it's going to be put to. I mean, if you were putting in something into a competition, like a county fair or whatever, yeah, rip it back. But if it's just your own personal use or you're giving it to someone, it's handmade. Handmade has imperfections. We're not perfect. And if you've already finished off that row, especially if you're doing different colors like this, nah. That's right. The cashier will not freak out if you're missing a stitch. And think about it. If they do, you can just go, wow, there's somebody more OCD than me. But yeah, I don't even think a cashier would notice or care because they're so busy. You started on your second side, Mary Lou? Yeah, I was tucking in ends too. I finished that, so figured I would start on the second side. Because I still haven't decided if I want to do sides and a bottom, if I want to do granny square sides. I mean, this would be a good book bag, but I mean, I wouldn't even use it to take my stuff out to the greenhouse or wherever to work on because things would be falling through without a fabric liner. I actually have some of that. It's a fabric they made kids splash pants out of. So maybe when my sewing machine's fixed, I would put a liner in it. Then it wouldn't be that stretchy. I don't know what I want to do. I think it's just going to be crocheted and only used for groceries. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do have containers that I would take things in. Like if I was taking my beading or whatever out to the greenhouse to play, everything's in plastic bottles. Got needles in plastic bottles, Keep stabbing myself on these scratch pens. They can't be on my desk. But yeah, crochet hooks and stuff, no, that wouldn't be quite the same. And if I was taking a doodle book along with me, I do have kind of like a pencil case for all my, various gel pens and things to take. So, yeah, it could be a travel bag for whatever. For the strap, it just looks like they've stitched it down and then done it and just because it looks like it's attached. Can you see that? Looks like it's about 5 or 6 stitches wide. But a crocheted strap would be really stretchy, so I think I would do them a little bit shorter than they picture here. Because the strap, each side of it looks almost as long as the square. Like when you look at it in the picture, it's almost as long as the two squares together. I think that would be far too long. Um, I've done shopping bags out of cotton, and I do find the straps really stretchy, though, Sherry. Yeah. So as I said, either I'm going to use like that strapping, or I'm going to do short handles. Maybe double it up. I mean, if it was the really fine crochet cotton, like for doilies, I don't think it would stretch. But this stuff, I think it would be pretty stretchy. I think it depends on the stitches, Sherry. Really. I mean, maybe if it was a single crochet, it wouldn't be quite as stretchy. No, 100% cotton isn't quite as stretchy, you're right, but it still does have a fair bit of stretch to it. I guess too the pattern that I followed was 100% cotton and it holds a multitude of groceries. So the handle stretches so big depending on how much weight is in it. Is it the long weekend down in the States too, Mary Lou? No, three, Kim. No, next weekend, right? Do you have a long weekend next weekend, I think? I thought you had one in May as well. Last weekend, yeah. Okay, it's your Memorial Day. Ours is Victoria Day, and it's today. I am waiting for you, Cal. You want me to show you how to stitch together? I can do that. Okay, so we're going to stitch together now, which makes sense because these four are stitched together before you put, the other sides on and everything. So I will stitch these four together and then I will show you how I would do the handle. And then it would be up to you to decide how you wanted to do your sides. If you just want to do them together the same way we do the front, or if you want to add squares for between. Does that make sense? Okay, so all you do is you take two of your squares, you've got a right side and a wrong side. You put the right sides together, and you take your main color. I'm calling it the main color because that's what I'm joining everything with. You're going to add squares. I'm going to. No, I'm going to single crochet them together, Mary Lou. because you can sew them together. I just find doing it this way works just as fast. So again, I do a loop like we've been doing to start crocheting. With the right sides together, I go into one corner and I pull it up the way you would to start your new yarn or whatever. And then you can see where the stitches are. You should have the same number of stitches on each one. And Cal, if you're missing a stitch or whatever, just adjust for it. So then what I do is I just go through the tops of the stitches, double loops, and I do a single crochet. So I go through the 4 loops at the top, pull up a loop, single crochet. And I do that all across the row. When it comes to the single crochet in the middle, you can still do the same thing. You just have to work it a little bit. But you just go under both loops together, pull up a loop, and work them together. Okay. Oh, I thought I had the wrong. It's okay. Thought I had a square backwards, but doesn't matter. It's a shopping bag, Kim. Doesn't matter. Right? Right. So that's how I join the squares together, Cal. I single crochet them. You could sew them. You could, as Mary Lou said, she just whipped stitches. She said she's trying it this way. So, of course, it's up to you to decide how you want to do it. What works easiest for you? I like single crochet. I like my single crochet row on the inside. So when you get to the corner, you're going to do a single crochet in the first stitches, and you're going to do a single crochet through the loops, not the stitches, through the loop at the corner. Then you're going to take your next 2, put your right sides together. You're going to do a single crochet through the corner loops. Sorry, gibbled here. Through the loops, through the stitches, and then in each stitch across again. Yeah, that's true. Black is difficult to see at the best of times. And the reason I do it that way is because you have to remember that the corner is like a stitch on its own. So that when you open it, you have to have that. Oh, look, I went down the wrong way. This way. This way. And that's the other thing. You have to watch. It'll twist on you. You just kind of figure out where you were, twist it back. So that this one opens up, and then this one opens up, and you've got a nice join in the middle. So that's the way it looks joined. There's the corner. And so once you've got that done, you go and you do the other side, like the other way. So I will finish this one off, and then I'll show you what I mean. The spaces on the side, yes. I do a stitch in each stitch, spaces and all. I just find, or I think, I don't know, I think that this makes it that little bit more durable. Hey, Shelley, welcome, welcome. You been up in the gallery just watching? Or are you just popping in? I'm glad you're here. Well, when I was looking at the picture, Shelley, it looks to me like it was crocheted together, but it looks like they did it so that it was on. I'll show you in a minute. I'll finish this row and I'll show you what I'm thinking. What am I thinking? You've had a busy family Sunday? I'm sure yours looks absolutely fine. Okay, so I've got to the corner again, so I crochet in the first stitch. And then I go into the corner, and now I'm going to end it off. So you can see now I've got both sides right way. So if you look at this pattern, this picture, it has a definite ridge down the edge. Down the center, it doesn't have one here, but it's got one there. So I'm thinking that they did it single crochet because it would have the ridge. That's on my inside though. But does that make sense that it's got that ridge? That's what it looks like to me from the picture. But this is my right side, and it just looks like it's like this. Hey, Janet, welcome, welcome. Still playing with making the purse. I've got squares for one side done, so I'm just joining them to show Kel. And we're all kind of deciding on if we're going to put another squares top, sides, and bottom so that it's got more depth to be used like as a shopping tote. Because if it's a purse, we figure it definitely needs to be lined, because I could see myself throwing a handful of change in and it would be all over the floor. Okay, so I've got those sides done. So then you fold it this way and you do all along this edge. You single crochet all along this edge. So that's what I'm going to do. And of course, we got sidetracked with a few other things while we were doing this, because evidently I have a hard time staying on task. So again, I just do my starting loop like I would normally do for crocheting, and I just pull it through the corner. Then I go into the stitch, the first stitch, and I just single crochet along. So I go under both loops and single crochet. Both loops of the stitches, single crochet. And I do that right across. Am I making sense? There are various ways of joining. I found a really cool one that I did when I did my daughter's Afghan, but for the life of me, I can't remember. But it was almost like a zigzag stitch. It looked really, really awesome. But I really, really cannot remember. So Mary Lou has been crocheting along, and Kel is crocheting along. Yeah, that was the first thing I did too, was the Granny Square blanket. I still have it, and the ends are still not all woven in. Okay, so I'm coming to the corner. I put it down, now I can't see it. Here's my stitch. There's the corner stitch. And because I've got the one in the center that I did, I just go underneath it and give it a stitch as well, right at the corner, and just carry on the other side. Uh-oh, I'm off somewhere here. What have I done? I have to pull back. There's the center. See, even I have to pull back, Kel. There's the stitch. Now these ones are the cluster. There we go. Now it lines up. How did your art class go the other day, Shelley? I know that you were teaching. And Linda told me that she crochets earrings. And that sounded really cool. So I'm hoping Linda's going to post some pictures so that we can see the earrings she does. Kel, did you catch this? I'm not going to enter that off just in case you need to see it again. Awesome, Linda. Thank you. So I would consider that one side complete. I'm trying to decipher if this actually has a row of the granny square clusters down the sides and the bottom on each half, and then it's put together, because it looks, which would give it a little bit of depth. Because I think if it's just put together like this, I don't know. I don't know. How was your purse done, Shelley? Did you do like another row around and then join them? Do you remember? And that's, if I was putting a blanket together, that's the way I would join a blanket together as well. I would crochet them. But I might do it so that these are on top. Because if you look, that definitely has, doesn't have the one across the middle, but it definitely has the one on the side, I'm thinking. Oh, yeah. All right. I think that's why I suggested using light colors. But it would look really sharp with black. I really like the way this one looks with the black outline, the black edges. So what do you think, Mary Lou? Can you see this good enough to see if they did like another row around the outsides? Yeah. That makes sense. But do you see what I mean? Like, I think that on this pattern that Shelley sent me the picture, they did another row of the granny square clusters down 3 sides. And then they joined it together, and that was how, I don't know. Do you think that would give enough? Yeah, here we go again. Enough depth for a shopping bag? Or are you going to do another like squares around? Because that would mean that you need to do another 6 squares on top of the 8. So you'd have to do 14 squares total. And you know, looking at the way that this handle is attached, it does look like they've done an entire row around, a second row of the main color around. You're going to mean 6 more squares? Make? I think I'm going to as well. We could also add 2 rows. That makes sense. Go around the whole thing twice with the main color. I think that's a great idea. Let's try it. It's not going to take long. So I didn't cut this off. So I'm just going to start right there, and I'm going to slip stitch into this space. Do the chain 3. And even though it is a corner, it's only getting 3 double crochet in it because it's being treated as a side now. On 3 sides. Okay. No, I think it's all the way around. Because if you look at the handle, it's joined. It looks like there's an extra row up there as well. I'm going all the way around. Here we go, making things our own ways again, guys. This is the fun part. Here's where we deviate from. We make it up as we go along. Do it. I'm doing it. Just do it. Just remember, when you get to the corner, you do 3 crochet, 3 single or 3 chain, and 3 double crochet. Yeah. I think that's why I had such a hard time with a lot of crochet patterns, because even like those little cats I showed you, I originally followed a pattern and decided that each leg and ear, doing them separately and all those ends to weave in, it was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. So I played around until I got it so it was all one piece and I didn't have to stop. Oi, 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 oi. Kelly has made a couple of lap gowns since she's learned how to crochet. It's very cool. And the little stuff she's made, her cats have been stealing. And I have to admit, a lot of times I'll see a picture of something that I like and I will do it my way. I will just from the picture. So it's kind of what I'm doing with this. Kel, did the way I put them together make sense to you, hun? Good, good. Because chances are you'll be putting it together when I'm not around. So I'm glad that it will work for you. Wow. Splitting my yarn all over the place here now. This is crazy. Stop that. Okay. Why are you having goofy hands now all of a sudden? Anybody else crocheting along? Or trying this? Open to suggestions on how to do the handles, because we were saying that they could be really stretchy. I thought of using some strapping, but the strapping I've got is bright blue. And it's actually a pretty nice size. I'll lay it out and measure it right away. I'm just about finished this row. The pattern? There is no pattern. I posted in my description box the Granny Square pattern that was closest to the one I'm using, the one that's in the picture. It's just the simple Granny Square pattern. So I posted the link to Sarah Maker's website video. She's got really great detailed instructions on how to do it. There really isn't a pattern for this. That's why I'm, throwing out there, what are we doing with the sides? If we're doing extra squares or just the rows. But I can definitely write down how I put it together once we've got all the squares done, if you would like. I could write that out and I will put it on my group page. And the way that Sarah Maker shows how to change colors, Mary Lou and I decided that we were going to do it the way we were taught, which is cut the yarn, finish it off, start again, instead of doing the slip stitch in the next color. I'm always scared that things are going to unravel when I change colors that way. Like if I carried the yarn a row or whatever, that's one thing, but just to have a loose end and weave it in and hope that it doesn't unravel, I don't know. I've never really done that. Like I say, I've always finished and okay. I mean, I can always do another square and show you how I do the squares, because I still have to do the next side. So I will be going through squares again and I can talk you through it. That is not a problem. I just don't know how long you guys want me to be here. I can finish this whole purse online, this bag online. If that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. Okay, so I've gone all the way around. Is another row. I'll finish that off. Okay, so then what I was thinking, okay, let's measure this first before we get carried away. That is 11 and a half inches square. So that's not a bad size shopping bag, 11 and a half, because we all know you start putting stuff in, it's going to go like this, and you know. It was just the side depth that I was wondering about. So if I do it like this, and that's the sides, that'll be, yeah, I like that size too. That's a nice size. And I mean, even if I don't do squares along the sides and the bottoms, it'll still hold a few groceries. Because this would be up, right? That's bottom, sides. Okay, so that's not much. Okay, I think I am going to do the other squares to go. Because even if, like, one row is what? 3/4 of an inch. So that's an inch and a half. And when it stretches, that would still hold like a can of soup or a can of beans or whatever, widthwise, because it'll stretch. Okay. So I've got some bits to tuck in. Not too worried about that just yet. Okay, so let's get these other 4 squares done. So I'll finish this one off and then I will talk you through one, Linda. Is that okay? Okay, no problem, Mary Lou. If you need to go, you need to go. That's fine. Totally understand. Yeah, this is a long time for me being online too. Perfect. That sounds awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here, Mary Lou, and thank you for talking me through some ideas and how we're gonna, do this. I am doing as this way, and I am not going to do the extra squares. I'm just going to do these 4 squares and put it together and do a handle. Excellent. I like it when people lose track of time. Unless you have appointments or things, it's a nice way to spend the afternoon visiting and playing, right? It's just calming. Calming. Well, I definitely appreciate you being here, Mary Lou, and like I say, talking through how we've always done things and just doing it that way. You're watching and cooking dinner? Nice. What you having for dinner? Yeah, I'm probably cutting into all kinds of people's streaming times here. What was the question again? I'm finishing off this square and I'm going to do another square. Do you want to watch, or do you think that by watching the video you will have a handle on it? Like just watching from the beginning again, it would be enough for you to do, to copy. Did that make any sense whatsoever? I'm playing it back in my head and I'm going, what are you saying? Sounds good. What'd you put in your black beans? I use lots of black beans. I've actually even made hummus out of black beans. It was really good. So do you do like burger bowls because you're not doing carbs, Shelley? Okay, you'll watch the video. So then have I kind of explained enough to everybody that I can shut down, or does anybody need help with anything before I do that? And then if you've got a question or whatever, I will help you. Does that make sense? Because I can stay on till I finish this if you need me to, anyone. What about the handle? Okay. I can show you how I will make the handle, and I can do it now because I've got that side finished. I'll just finish this up and then do the handle. You're good? Okay. Then I will show Cal how I'm doing the handle. So as I was saying, Cal, I think this handle is far too long for this bag, because if you're using it as a shop, let's do this in frame. if you're using it as a shopping tote, this handle is going to, I could do a part 2 too. But I'll just show you quickly how to do the handle, and if I need to do a part 2, I can do a part 2. Cilantro, green peppers, onions. Oh, sounds awesome. Sounds absolutely awesome. Do you ever throw tomatoes in it too? I think I would be tempted to throw tomatoes in that. Okay, so as I say, I think this handle's too long. If you meat, cheese, and avocado, that's the way I would do it too. I would probably put it in a bowl with a bunch of veggies on top. And yeah, that sounds awesome. So I think the handle would really, really stretch. And it would be really uncomfortable for if you're shopping and you've got a bunch of heavy groceries in the bag. So I would cut the size of the handle down quite a bit. But if you can see, it's just attached above the first 2, no tomatoes. I would add tomato, but I'm not on a carnivore diet though, so I would add tomatoes. But if you look at the picture, it's just attached above these 2 clusters. These 2, right by the corners. So, and it looks like it goes from one cluster to the next cluster. So I'm thinking that's about 6 or 7 stitches. It could become a crossbody strap. But I think, like I say, it might be really heavy. I really think, I mean, you could try it. And if you don't like it, you can pull it back, right? Just leave the end not woven in so that you can rip it back and shorten it should you need to. Does that make sense, Kel? I'm just thinking of the weight because I know if I've got a heavy purse and it's on my shoulder gets really sore and achy. So I think I would rather have like a smaller strap, and then I could put it over my forearm should I need to if my hands weren't working. But I don't think that I would want it really on my, totally up to you. So like I say, leave the end that you finish off on. Don't weave the end in. Do it the length you think that you want. And you can always pull it back or add to it if you need to. Okay? So since it goes from these 2, I'm thinking they're using these 2 clusters here and the chain in the middle. So that's 7 stitches. You need crossbody? Okay, then make it that little bit longer. And you know what? If you're doing that, I would even make it a little bit wider so that it's more comfortable. Does that make sense? So anyway, I would start it like this, right? The way we normally start it. And I said these 6 stitches. So I would go in the top of this cluster, the first double crochet in that cluster. And it looks like they're double crochet. So I would just work 7 double crochet across, and then I would turn it and just keep working it until it's the length that I want. And the sides I would just put together the same way I put these 4 squares here together. So then I've got my 7 stitches. Again, I count the first 3 chain as the double crochet and the step up, right? So then I get to the end, chain 3, and go in the 6 double crochet that are across, so you have 7 stitches. And you just go back and forth until it's the length you want, right? 7 stitches, double crochet across. So you'd be going into the top of the chain 3 because that's considered a double crochet, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make sense? Chain 3 and turn. And then I would go into these ones when it was done, and I would just single crochet it together. Does that make sense? I would take this end and put it up and around and have it so that it's here, and I would single crochet it at the back to the other side. Make sense? Okay, perfect. All right. All right. All right. So then I'm going to call it a day. I've been on for 3.5 hours. I think that I've explained how I've put the squares together and how the squares are made and how I do the handle. I'm not going to do the squares on the sides or the bottom. I'm just going to put it together as it is, and I'm going to test it, and I will let you know how it works, because I do have to pick up groceries this week, and I will post pictures of it complete, etc., etc. So I'm going to go. Thank you guys all for being here. I really appreciate you spending time with me like this. I hope that your bags work the way you would like them to. They're pretty simple. They're fun. And as I say, if I was using it as a purse, I would definitely line it with fabric so that I wasn't losing things from it. So it'd just be like a straight stitch bag kind of thing. And yeah. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Kel. You know, that's what I like to do. I like to help. And this was a nice project. So, and it's only going to take you a day or so. Well, thanks for being here, Sherry. Hugs to you too. One day I'm going to have a vehicle that I will trust on the highway. And that pineapple lace doily crochet that you sent me, are you having problems with that? Do we need to get together and work on it? All right. Perfect, Cal. Perfect, perfect. And you're just doing it all one color, right? In the variegated? Are you using that really soft stuff that you made the lap gowns out of? And how stretchy is it? Because then you'll have to take that into consideration when you're doing the Okay, Sherry, no problem. No problem. Variegated? But is it like just a regular yarn, or is it a really soft, fuzzy one like you did the lap gowns out of? No? Okay. Okay. Because that will definitely stretch differently than this does. All right. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you guys Tuesday, possibly, if you have time to spend time with me Tuesday afternoon. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Shelley, for sending me the picture that we used today. And thanks to Mary Lou for feedback and discussing how we're doing this. It's always nice getting second opinions, etc., etc. You know how that works. So, thanks, guys. Big hugs. Lots of appreciation. Take care, everybody. Bye.